Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everyone can hear me as I'm going to listen to my own voice to make sure that I'm coming through. Welcome to the second episode of the Pulp Cthulhu Project Athena countdown. And yes, I could hear my own voice, which is great, pro streamer. Okay, I seem to have gotten that working. Hopefully, we're all up. Hopefully, the light's on. We're going to get into a recap. We're going to do all the things that need to be done here on a second episode of a deadly encounter set in 1933. But before that, I would like to introduce everyone to our fantastic players because this might be the last time you're going to see them. So let's start with Allison. Allison, tell us about you, tell us about your character, and tell us how you would like to spend your last day in 1933.
Greg, I would love to spend my last day cursing you for being a terrible human being. I'm Allison Robinson, fresh back from PAX Unplugged, amazing weekend. Totally energized for this. Looking forward to it all weekend long, and picked up my own personal copy of the Pulp Cthulhu rulebook just to make sure that that you stay in line, Mr. Keeper. I am playing Cait O'Callaghan. She is Arizona born and raised, amazing aviatrix who's really looking forward to getting back in the air tonight after more time on the ground than she's comfortable spending.
Excellent. Sounds good. And in the air she will be in one way or the other. Lauren, let's hear about Sibella, who your character is and how she would like to spend her last day in 1933.
Oh boy, Greg. All right. Sibella is just, a little Southern peach living in New York City. She owns a bookshop, Ives esoteric and antiquarian books. And there's nothing abnormal about her, so I guess it's just going to be a real fun party.
It sounds good on this end.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to have fun, and I know that I'm going to have a party.
Oh,
so
boy.
The more the merrier.
That's great. I love it all.
Okay, well, let's go on to our resident gunslinger, Steve, who is playing Dwight. Steve, tell us about Dwight, and how would Dwight like to spend his last day in 1933?
Dwight Burke, he's from the hills of West Virginia. I would say his last day would probably be to get it-faced if he had to, because one, he does not like to fly, so he's going to be very uncomfortable in the air. And two, if he knows that it's going to be his last day, then we might as well go out with a bang.
Great, so he's kind of like B.A. Baracus from the A-Team.
Yes, yeah, you might as well knock him out.
Right, he ain't getting on no blimp, right, okay. Awesome, well that sounds like what a great, perfect encounter then for Dwight, one that's deadly and in the air. I mean, it's almost like someone designed it.
Perfect.
Right. Strider, tell us about Elijah, your character, and how he would like to spend his last day in 1933.
Hey, all, good to be here again. Just wanted to say for anyone watching, we know how much work Greg puts into these things, but I'm really blessed to also be playing with people. The players are putting in just as much work. They actually did create their own secret chat room that we've been like typing ideas up in. So it's a great blessing to be able to play with these guys. Elijah is a smooth talker that lays down compliments for people so they don't kill him. See what I did there? What would he do on his last day? Elijah's going to cheat death and confuse him with fancy feats of the tongue. So he shall live another day.
Okay, so to recap, the plan is to out-talk death.
Yes.
I love it. I'm proud to be a part of that plan. Tim, last but not least, tell us about Thomas, your character, and how Thomas would like to spend his last day in 1933.
Thanks, Greg. I play Thomas Mueller. He's an immigrant from Germany, Dresden to be exact. He's the not-so-wacky sidekick of Albert Einstein. His last day is going to be bashing some Nazis.
Ambitious, and I like it. I am a big fan of that. Nice. Okay, so let's see, to recap everything that we've started out doing here. A couple things just to kind of put out for the future VODs and all that good stuff. Anybody that watches this show can interact with it, as if you are part of the Encounter Roleplay coaching tree, you know that that's exactly how Encounter Roleplay has it set up, and anybody that is branched off from that great institution usually does something like this as well. If we hit any of our follower goals, or if any of our retweet goals, or if any of our subscription goals, of which you can't do yet because I'm not an affiliate, the follower and the retweets will enable the characters that you currently see on the screen to be gifted a chat critical, or a nat 20, a critical success in this game. So if we do hit any of those tiers, somebody, one of the 5 that you see, perhaps one that desperately needs it, will be given a crit success. Also, and this is by no means any type of direction, if you feel that you just have to direct the course of this game, I'm not here to stop you. You can go down to the donation center just below the screen that you're watching, and you can see how you can affect the show. You can give the characters advantage. You can give them critical successes. You can give the whole team a critical success. Or if you are nefarious, like I know you are, you can include a monster, or make a boss tougher, or you can even join in the action. But that's below, so check it out if you want to. If not, enjoy what you're about to see. Now, to recap what we did in episode 1, it was a meet and greet, and any of the characters here can chime in if there's something that they want to specifically mention. But the base roots in the nutshell of everything that happened, everyone came together. Everyone met and congregated in the Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. Oh, Studio Robot Bear, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the party, pal. With that, that's one. That's
Ethan.
Awesome. That's one. So, Ethan, thanks for joining us, buddy. If that is, in fact, you, we are that
He's
much
a
closer.
Dick, but I'm glad he's watching.
Well, hey, dick or not, thanks for watching, brother. So, anyhow, basically, for episode 1, it was a meet and greet. Everybody met at the Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore. We got a little taste of everybody. We met Einstein. We met Jack. We found out that Jack had been following everybody in the party, kind of keeping a tab on them, because the former presidential administration run by Herbert Hoover wanted to remove these characters from play because they seemed to be targets of one Adolf Hitler. Hitler's motivations for them is unknown at this point, other than he views them as specific and great examples. Christoph AU is now following. That's 2. Thank you very much for joining the adventure. Welcome to the party, pal. And as Hitler showed interest in these 5 characters, so too did the American government. Hoover wanted to hide them away to keep them out of Hitler's grasp. But FDR, who took office just a few days ago, as soon as he won the election, he directed one Jack, the one that's in charge, the enigmatic head of Project Athena, to not only locate them, but tag them and bring them in when needed. And as soon as FDR was sworn into office, the need became apparent, and Project Athena was a go. We also found out that Jack has gone by naming the 5 that you see here the Olympians, for the Greek gods. We have as yet do not know why. Now, at the end of the episode, we found out that Jack had discovered that the Zeppelin of the United States, the USS Akron, was actually going to host the German delegation from a sister ship of its own, the Graf Zeppelin, which was in New York after having a transatlantic flight over from Berlin. Why is this important? Well, because the Germans involved with the Graf Zeppelin have been linked to the attacks on the Olympians that you see before you, and other things that have been occurring in the New York area. Finding out anything about that, gathering intel, perhaps thwarting a plan that is yet to become known, is something that these 5 were sent aboard the USS Akron to discover. Now, it's not just a normal flight for the USS Akron. This is, in fact, a dinner party of sorts, a meet and greet or a mixer in the sky. We have several people going in as themselves. Cait is going in as herself. Oh, Strider, hey, thanks for following, buddy. You're a dick, but it's good to have you, bud. In addition to that, Cait O'Callaghan, played by Allison, is going in as herself as well because she is a country, if not world-renowned aviatrix who has set plenty of airspeed records in the Western United States. So her notoriety basically gives her a ticket to get into this party. Elijah, played by Strider, will be going in as Thomas Carson, the assistant to the deputy mayor of New York, and Sibella Ives, played by our Lauren, will be going in as his +1. Dwight Burke, our resident gunsmith, will be going in as a simple mechanic assigned to the USS Akron and basically being able to kind of drift into the shadows, so to speak, to provide any type of support that a person of his skill set might be able to employ. However, we have one lone person who decided to join this party of his own volition, and that is Thomas Mueller, played by R. Tim. Thomas was told to remain back because he is, as Jack has defined him in his files, a Nova-level intellect, which puts him on the same par as Einstein. He is too vital a resource or too vital an asset to risk in the field. However, when Thomas found out that one Joseph Dietrich, an SS operative that last saw his parents alive, was aboard the USS Akron, he decided to act. So that is where our action will take place, or start up, everyone. You have been driven out to a field in Staten Island where a good mile and a half away from your destination, you can see the massive body of the USS Akron floating above a field in Staten Island. Excuse me. A pair of airway steps have been rolled up to the command center or the cockpit of the USS Akron, and people are going in. It looks almost as if one might imagine the Cotton Club to look. People walking in ball gowns and furs and long coats, walking up and being greeted in tuxedos with tails and everything. You can hear the music even coming through from the outside as there's apparently a band playing within the USS Akron. And as you all pull up, the first to arrive are the ones that should be here first, Elijah and Sibella. The car doors open and you are faced with the stairs.
Is Jack here with us, or is it just us now?
You have been sent, and as Jack said, he is not to order you. You are to direct the course of history.
Okay. Elijah's actually been acting really timid and quiet anytime Jack's around because he's trying to put on this persona, but he's gone, so I don't have to worry about that. Elijah looks right in his element, and he's stepping out of the car with a big grin across his face, smiling at anyone nearby, shaking any hands, and just making his way forward like he belongs here and he owns the place.
Okay.
And I guess Sibella is just like hooked around him. Like, she doesn't have her spectacles on, they're in her handbag, so she's kind of like very wide-eyed and blinking around and just kind of nodding and smiling because she has never done anything undercover. She is not a good liar.
That's fantastic. Also, before you guys get into it, give us a brief rundown on what exactly Elijah, how does he look? What has he done to himself? Because Elijah is a master of disguise. He is a bit of a confidence man. So if he's made any material changes to his outlook, we went with a young Warren Beatty as the base look of Strider or of Elijah. Let's see what we go with, how that's been changed, and also Sibella or Lauren, how has Sibella changed with this?
Yeah, Elijah carries around all kinds of suits tailored to different body types. If he needed to stuff the tummy a little bit, he would have. And he also has all different kinds of makeup that he puts on all over his face to totally change what looks like to be the bone structure and the tint of his skin. So he is still about a 5'11" dude. The skin of this Thomas Carson, I believe, is probably a bit smoother and more glowing than the actual Thomas Carson. His smile's probably a little bigger, and his hair is probably a little bit more, even more greased up and combed back. But
nice.
Yeah, he's like 5'11". He's wearing a meticulous suit Anytime a piece of lint or hair has gotten on it, he's fastidiously taken it off and made sure he is pristine.
Excellent.
He's all made up.
Now we know about the outside, but what Greg here, the keeper of this mission, would like to know is, what's he carrying that could possibly thwart Greg's plans later? Like, does he have a gun on him? Does he have a knife? What's his loadout, if we were going by Blades in the Dark terms?
Yeah, he has a 32 revolver in his right sleeve. He might have has the sleeves a little baggy just so it can fit. He has a 30.
That's what that is.
He has a 32 revolver in his left sleeve, in his left vest pocket, and strapped to his right ankle. And he has a combat knife strapped to his left ankle because he is incredibly paranoid. And he never wants anyone to get the upper hand over him.
Okay, so wait, that's a 38 in his sleeve and a knife
32.
in his boot? A 32 in his sleeve and a knife in his boot?
Yeah.
Or did you say a 32 in his sleeve, a 32 in his breast pocket, and a knife in his boot? That one girl, thank you very much.
I have 3 or 4 guns. They're all 32s.
Okay, good. So when you start pulling these out, I'll be able to check them off my list. Excellent. Okay, so let's go on down. We know we got an idea of what Elijah's packing as he walks in here, dressed as Thomas Carson, ready to kill. Sibella, what do you got?
No guns. So Sibella, she usually looks very much like a very tailored, bright librarian, and is usually a lot more covered up because reasons. And tonight, however, she is wearing a pink silk charmeuse evening gown that kind of flares out at the bottom with a very low back. And she is wearing some evening gloves, but as they start to move in, she may have to take those off. And her spectacles are away in her handbag, and she has absolutely nothing untoward on her. Why would I need that?
Exactly.
Walking up to the place, Elijah is really iffy about people touching him, so she wants to be glued to him, but even though it might not go with his cover he's trying to keep, he's being pretty suspicious, and like if she reaches out again, it takes a step away. But he does tell her, "Now, Miss Sibella, you should just let me do all the talking here. It'll be quite easy. Just pretend I'm Miss O'Callaghan and make those googly eyes at me, and no one will suspect a thing."
Uh-huh. Sure, Mr. Sawyer. Oh, sorry, Mr. Carson. We don't want any slips like that, right?
Precisely. But I know you won't, because I'll do all the talking myself.
Sure. I'm sure talking's exactly what we need in this scenario. Nothing else.
That's why they sent me in.
Oh, great.
Okay, so you guys make your way to the bottom of what would now be called a jetway, rolling stairs that are going up into the great mass that is the USS Akron. And as you get at the bottom, there's a serviceman standing there, and he sees you all coming. And before you even get a chance to introduce yourself, the serviceman says, "Mr. Carson, we've been waiting for you. Go right on in, sir. We've got your drinks ready for you. They're right at the bar."
Well, thank you kindly, sir. I appreciate it.
And the stairs are yours. So I assume you guys walk up and enter the USS Akron.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, sure.
At this point, as soon as the Sawyer and Ives car drives off, another car pulls up, and out pops one Cait O'Callaghan, playing Cait O'Callaghan, because, as mentioned before, her notoriety precedes her. Cait?
Or perhaps playing live bait might even be a bit more appropriate here. Cait steps out of the car. She's wearing a satin gown that is crimson red. It's sleeveless. It sort of drapes across the front. And for those that have the good fortune of seeing the back, it drops tantalizingly low all the way to her waist. For this reason, she's chosen to go with a drop leg holster for her M1911 tonight. Fortunately, she's got just enough hips to kind of ensure that the dress hangs over it in such a way that it's not immediately obvious. She's chosen to leave the Bowie knife at home, although she may decide later that she regrets that choice. The other thing that you notice is she's got a matching handbag in one hand, and hanging from a strap in that hand, she's holding a Kodak Brownie camera, just a little box camera, the type that were very, very popular in the day. And as she steps out, she looks up, and she can be heard to say, "It is much, much larger than I expected it to be." And she holds it up and she takes a picture, and then down, and she takes a picture of the entry ramp, and she starts looking around to see if there's anybody that she should be meeting as she walks up.
It seems that at this point, you guys might be some of the last ones to arrive here to the Akron. There are a couple people trailing in. You do notice maybe just entering into the bulk of the ship, you see Sawyer and Ives kind of cresting and going in, but there seems just to be personnel, mechanics, kind of tether operators down here, and servicemen. And as you kind of look around and take your pictures, the same serviceman that greeted Mr. Carson also waves off and says, "Miss O'Callaghan, we have been expecting you."
Well, wonderful. It's great to be here. Now, can you tell me about those engines? What kind of horsepower do those things put out?
I don't rightly know, ma'am. I've never been aboard the Akron. I'm a serviceman here in the greater New York area. I work the port mainly.
Oh, well, that's just fine. Hey, look, as I'm getting on, could you just take my picture? Have you ever used one of these before? You just push the little button here.
Just the button?
Just like point it at me. You can look right through here, and I just want a picture of me on the stairs.
Oh, I will try my best, ma'am. And he steps back and he looks through the viewfinder, and it takes him probably 3 times as long as, twice to get the hang of it.
Give me a second. Let me just, okay. All right.
You all, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to push it on 3.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Is that it?
Did you push the button?
I did.
Oh, then that's it. Okay, you can give it back.
Okay. All right. And then he hands it back. I've never done that before. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Are you coming with us then, or are you going to stay here?
No, ma'am. I'm mainly a ground control here. I run the cruise here, and this is a temporary setup. So we're going to be leaving here as soon as you all take off.
Oh, well, then I guess I better get aboard. Thank you. Thanks again.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Have a good trip.
Tucks up her hem and she heads up the stairs.
At this point, whenever you step inside, a truck pulls up, and out of the passenger side, dressed as a flight mechanic with the overalls and the pulled down cap that is seen by all the other members of the ground crew and the flight crew here, one Dwight Burke steps out carrying a duffel bag. Steve, tell us what Dwight is doing, and better yet, what does he have in that duffel bag?
Well, like you said, he's wearing a lovely overalls to the evening. He's hoping to catch the ladies' eyes. He's what he has in the duffel bag is a broke down Grand. He's also got a 1911 broke down in the bag as well, if that's possible. And he's always carrying a switchblade with him at some point, He also has a little flask of whiskey because Dwight's also wondering how he got, after a 24-hour period, he's got himself going on a blimp on a mission that he's not quite sure of what's going on. So he's not exactly the happiest person.
That's great. And yeah, you would have to break down the rifle, but you could easily carry the 1911. It doesn't have to be broken down. You could just put it into the bag. It's as you get closer, the same gentleman that you probably caught the end of Cait being seen up in there and the picture taking and everything. He sees you, nods, and just motions for you to take a service stairwell that's in the opposite side.
Now, will I be able to find like a vantage point where I can see what's going on through the whole? Is there a catwalk above or somewhere I could get that I could look and see what's going on?
That is a surprise and a mystery that lays inside the USS Akron.
Well, that's what I'll be looking for.
Okay, so silently and stoically and perhaps a little bit apprehension, Dwight climbs and enters the service stairs of the USS Akron. Now, just before, as even some of the mooring lines are beginning to be taken up, a what would be considered nowadays a scooter of sorts, but is in actuality a small motorcycle back in the day, pulls up and as it stops, and a gentleman wearing a tuxedo jumps off of it. He's about 6'6", and it is one Dr. Thomas Mueller. Dr. Mueller, you see the USS Akron in front of you. However, you have not been invited. How would you like to get on?
Thomas is going to he would probably try to slip the person taking the invitations, maybe a 20. That's a good bit of money back in the day. So I would probably try that. I'll walk up to the guy and then use the little cool trick where you got the 20 in your hand and kind of shake hands with him, telling him that I'm not on the list, but I'd like to be. I just didn't get my invitation. I forgot it or whatever. Just make up some excuse.
That sounds good. Why don't you roll me, and you can make your choice here, a persuasion or a fast talk.
I will do that. I'll do persuade.
Oh my God, you got it. Okay, so as you shake this gentleman's hand, who's obviously in the military, he's obviously a serviceman, and there is a 20 folded up in thirds and pressed into his palm, he stares at you for a second, looks down at his hand, sees the peak of the green edging of the bill, stares and looks at you again, puts it into his pocket, and he goes, "Go right on in, Dr. Mueller."
Thank you, sir. So he's wearing basically a tuxedo, and it's not a rental. He has his own tuxedo.
Fancy.
He's going to be taking mental notes of where he knows the front of the ship's going to have where the control car, and he knows that the keel has the engine room, or I imagine the engine is probably in the rear. But he's going to be kind of mingling the party and kind of look and see possibly where Dwight would be too. Like just kind of like keep mental notes of where he's going and what he sees as he goes along.
Okay, sure thing. Oh,
wrong thing. Sorry.
No problem. Just wanted to make sure I didn't do something. Okay, what I wanted to ask you is this: what is Thomas Mueller carrying? He was given a duffel bag by Einstein when he left. Does he still have that? You're muted, bud.
He would have taken the duffel bag. Sorry.
Okay, so he's carrying the duffel bag in with him?
Yes, he will look inside the duffel bag before he gets, or when he goes in, after he gets past where he had to go through the escort or whatever the guy.
The checkpoint, sure.
Checkpoint, yeah.
As soon as you've gone through the quite lax security of the USS Akron by design, as you're walking up the stairs and you kind of open the duffel and look inside it, you see that there are two rectangular, maybe foot by foot and a half packs that have canvas strapping, and you immediately recognize them as the prototypes that you and Dr. Einstein were working on. One of them is the quote-unquote green shard pack, and the other is the fossil fuel pack. Also laying on top of both of these is one of the metal welder's masks with the rectangular lens through it. It looks like a big rectangular piece of metal with just a rectangular lens. And there is a note that is fastened to the outside of it. And in Einstein's hand, you see, "Thomas, remember gravity."
Okay.
And you enter the USS Akron. Okay, so this is for all of you. As you enter into the Akron individually, or in the case of Sawyer and Ives together, as you guys, which sounds like a law firm, when you guys walk in, the law firm of Sawyer and Ives and Burke. Okay, so as you guys walk in, you basically are whisked into a long flight deck. And this flight deck consists of a 75-foot long wooden and girder planking area that's perhaps 25 yards across. Down one whole side of it, from the front of the blimp to the rear, are tables, meticulously decorated and dined in finery and tablecloths and fine china. You see gentlemen wearing white tuxes that are apparently serving. There are two separate bars set up. At the rear of the plane, there is a band playing, and I think I might actually be able to give us some music so you guys can hear it. I don't know if it'll work. Chat, let me know if you can't hear it. So as you guys walk in, you hear everybody talking, you hear the music playing in the back. You see several different things of note, and these do not require spot hiddens, but after this, you will be asking, or I will be asking. What you see as soon as you walk in is you see maybe roughly 35 to 40 what you would consider to be civilians. These are people that are not dressed in military attire, and these are people that are, I would include the servers in this as well. So the servers are kind of mingling about. Along the opposite side, away from the decking, you see a row of biplanes, 6 of them in total, as they kind of hang from this trapeze system, kind of swinging lazily a bit, but they're moored down by anchoring ropes, so they're kind of locked in place, but they give a little bit. They are all one-seaters. As you guys are walking in there, looking down through there, you do notice that down on the far end by the band, there's a group of 5 military personnel that you immediately identify as the flight crew, or a portion thereof, of the Graf Zeppelin. You see the gray uniforms, you see the red field and the black swastika of the Nazi Party, and they all seem to just be standing around down by the band. You see several other important people of note. There's 3 kind of clusters that seem to be... There's 3 areas where people seem to be gathered. Everybody else seems to just be going to the bar, sitting down. The floor is yours, and I will let you know that these clusters of people, at the center of each, cluster 1 has a gentleman, cluster 2 has an older gentleman, and cluster 3 has a lady in the center of it. These are all 3 areas that Elijah and Sibella can go into in this active area. Dwight, when you get up to the top, you realize that you have free run of the entire ship because of your uniform that you're wearing. Cait, Sibella, and Thomas, and Elijah, you guys are limited to the flight deck. Let me know what you'd like to do. If you want to get any more information, spot hiddens will be in order.
Come along, Miss Tura. And Elijah's going to start elbowing his way through the crowds, not spotting for anything particular on the people besides just weapons or anything to note of a danger, honestly. And he's making his way over to one of the 2 bars.
Well,
Okay.
is anyone dancing? Does that require spot hitting, Greg?
No, nobody is dancing presently, but there appears to be enough space to do so in front of the band.
Oh. Good
Are
to
you
know.
wearing your gloves?
I'm gonna take them off. It's really uncomfortable. Yeah, as we go to the bar, I'm gonna just start trying to casually take off, very long evening gloves. It's fun.
Right.
I look very elegant as I do it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Elijah, you're looking around and it looks like your typical dinner party. Nothing truly stands out, but you do identify that the 3 kind of pockets of social interaction do in fact contain, like the aforementioned, 2 men and a woman in the center of each of these pockets. I would like, before we do anything, I would like Sibella to roll a luck roll for me, please.
What? Okay.
Took your gloves off.
Hard success.
Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Okay, so as you guys are walking to the bar. Elijah kind of striding in front as Thomas Carson, cutting a path, and Sibella, very, not at all biting the fingers of her gloves to get them off. Very aristocratic. She pulls her gloves free, and just as you kind of pull one of them free, your hand brushes across somebody that's passing in the crowd, and you immediately get the following: a flash, the red field, the black swastika, a pile of books on fire, and then just like that, it's gone.
Do I see who I touched?
Do a spot hidden for me.
No, damn it. Greg. Okay. I'm sure it's going to go real well. Nope.
You turn around, and there are several people close to you as you because they were parting around Elijah, but not to the point where they were, giving you a 10-foot berth. But you brushed somebody as you went by, but when you turn around to look, you can't identify who it was, but none of the Nazi soldiers or airmen are anywhere around here.
Damn it. Okay.
Do you say anything, or are you keeping that one to yourself?
Well, I just kind of stopped and started breathing heavily because I'm not used to doing it when I'm in public. Yeah. I just stopped walking behind you. I don't know if you noticed.
Elijah notices once he already gets up to the bar and kind of turns around like, oh, son of a bitch.
Huh? What? Oh, Thomas. Huh. I catch up to him. So, and I lean in real close, but without touching him. There is someone here not in uniform who maybe should be. Although I guess their intent would be not to be in uniform. You know what I mean? I think.
You talking about them Nazis over there?
Yes, there's someone here who is one of them, but does not look like one of them, or isn't being very obvious about it.
Well, I'm sure, Miss Tura, that there is more than just the one. If you believe there is one, I'm sure, we are plumb surrounded.
Oh, goody. Well, I guess we should just meet as many people as we possibly can.
Okay, at this point, when you guys make it over to the bar, Cait, you are entered and ushered into this room, and because of there was kind of a little bit of congestion into the deck proper, at one point you're standing side by side with Dwight, as Dwight, his head's down as he's kind of passing through into the area proper, and for a moment you two have a chance to interact if you need to do anything. You have maybe a 5-second window if there's anything that you guys have to say to one another before you'll both be out of earshot.
As Cait's passing, without turning her head and without even really stopping for any longer than she can avoid it, just sort of under her breath, she says, "Well, buckle up, Mr. Burke. It's gonna get bumpy up here, I think." And then she just sachets on by.
I kind of point, I say the planes. I want her to make sure she's paying attention to the planes.
I don't think there's ever been a plane in history or anything that flies that Cait O'Callaghan hasn't noticed.
That's
right?
escape route. That's basically what I'm saying,
Okay, and now, so as you guys enter in, Cait, you're gifted with the same description that I gave to Elijah and to Sibella. You see the 3 pockets of people. Spot hiddens would be in order for you, but I'm going to give you advantage because of your somewhat elevated status in certain circles. Also, to answer your question, Dwight, there isn't any way to get an elevation in this area, even though you do have a line of sight of about 75 yards. You are able to, that is a hard success. You are able to enter into the area behind you, which would be the cockpit, the hallway towards the cockpit. Stay here on the flight deck, and there's also an aft hallway that appears to lead off into what you can only assume would probably be general quarters. just because of your military experience. Usually the officers would not want to be sleeping anywhere near the enlisted men, so they'll be in the back somewhere. You are not going to be noticed unless you do something to be noticed, Dwight, because you are among the shadowy. Imperator Penguin, thank you very much for the follow, brother. As you guys come in, you're able to see, and by the way, everybody, that's a viewer decision. In chat, anybody that's in there right now, please vote. Just put down a VD and one of the characters' names, the majority of whom will get a critical success. So
Elijah needs to just completely outsmart and fuck over the Nazis. Like, go over there and get everything from them.
So do not give it to Elijah. Right.
Quick
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
How long would it take for me to put my gun together if need be?
Oh, you could do it pretty quick, less than 60
That's what I
seconds.
figured. Okay. Now,
Which is 10
my
combat
would be
rounds in
take
D&D,
a spot
but-
on Dietrich.
Okay, you do not see anybody that matches the description
Right.
of Dietrich. I will give that to you right now because you guys were all kind of given the Dietrich description. Of the 5 Germans you see, none of them match that description. The tall,
Oh, really?
really, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so as you guys walk in, Cait, what would you like to do? Your spot hidden reveals that because of your sort of pseudo experience in the political scene, you recognize former Vice President Charles Curtis, who is talking in the center, surrounded by people. The closer you get now, and with a spot hidden like that, because he's a taller man and you can he's very recognizable as the former vice president, who was the vice president as of just a few days ago. The closer you get, you realize that he is flanked by 2 pseudo-civilian clothes-wearing German officers.
Okay. Well, as I come onto the flight deck, I kind of really drawn immediately to those sparrowhawks along the other wall. Number 1, because I just naturally am, and number 2, because as Mr. Burke reminded me, this is how we're getting out of here. Maybe. So Cait strolls out more toward the middle of the flight deck, and as she goes, she's kind of taking pictures slowly, kind of all around the room, gawking. And as she spots that cluster of German officers at the far end, down by where the band was, did I get that right? In uniform? Okay, yeah. So she kind of puts the camera away for just a second, and she starts to stroll down there. She's just far enough out into the middle of the room where she's by herself, so she knows she's being watched, and she's working hard to attract a little bit of attention. And she's making a beeline. Maybe not too obvious a beeline, but she's definitely heading straight for the group of Nazi officers. If she's going to be live bait, then she's going to be live bait, and she's walking straight over.
I love it. Because also of that great spot hidden roll, and because you are Cait O'Callaghan, Mistress of the Skies, I will let you know another little tidbit about the sparrowhawks that are hanging in the trapeze harnesses there. They were mentioned and do in fact have 1 seat for the operator of the pilot of the plane. And it takes you just a second because there's something off about them. And then you get it. You realize what it is. They don't have landing gear.
Because, of course, there was no need for them to have landing gear.
Yes.
They
Go ahead.
You know, my old friend Jack Parsons used to say any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Right.
So I'm not too worried about that.
And because she is Cait, in lieu of the landing gear, and probably because of a weight measure or to increase reconnaissance area of effect, they do have fuel pods that seem to have taken either replaced the landing gear or were added. So they all have flight pods for extended range.
All right. Noted.
Okay,
Well,
so you're walking towards them, huh, the Nazis?
Yeah, I'm walking straight toward him, and as I get close, if there's a server nearby, I usher him over and I say, "Come here for just a second. Could you come here? Would you take a picture of me with these German boys? I mean, look at these boys." Come on over.
With a German boy? Okay.
Gentlemen, could you come here? Could I get a picture with you?
The closer you get, as soon as you say, "Can I get a picture with you?" the five of them look at you and shrug their shoulders.
What? Do you not speak English? English, you know. I hold up the camera. Picture with me. You take a picture with me. And then I just kind of walk over and I get right in the middle of them, like I want to get my picture taken with them.
Okay. The server that you gave the camera to, it's basically a repeat. I look in here. I touch the button. I count to 3. 1, 2.
No, hold on, honey. You got to look through the little window.
This one? You're upside down. Okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Click. Roll spot hidden for me.
Alrighty. Hard success.
Oh, this is delicious. Okay, so as you are among these Nazi soldiers, you notice several things that perhaps no one could notice at distance. You notice the following. They are all holding drinks, but none of them are drinking them. Mm-hmm. Several of them have cigarettes, but they might have an inch or two of ash sitting off of them. And while you're among them, you don't see any of them draw the cigarettes up to their lips to breathe, to, actually smoke. And the other thing you notice, and this is the thing that right after the picture's taken and you kind of turn and look at them, none of them are blinking. But all at one time, the 3 that you can see to your left, they all blink at the exact same time.
Well, you boys are obviously a product of that amazing German military training I heard about. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking a picture with me. It's welcome. Welcome to the United States of America. All right. And then she turns off and just begins to kind of saunter back toward the next closest throng of people.
Okay. At this point, 2 things happen. One, you feel a list as the mooring lines are detached from the USS Akron, and she begins to rise on her own power. Thomas Mueller enters from the last arrival from the ground, enters in tuxedo carrying a duffel bag from the same entryway that you all have come through. You all notice him because the view of everything, the bay doors are open. There are 2 very large bay doors that appear, quite frankly, to be the exit launching areas for the Sparrowhawks. It looks as if these cranes and this trapeze system can lower 2 Sparrowhawks at a time, one towards the rear, one towards the front, lower them below the drag or the depth of the Zeppelin and launch them into the air. But as an announcement goes out that these bay doors will be left open to give all of the partygoers a unique and one-of-a-kind view of the city of New York City. And in addition, whenever there are observation areas that are kind of set up around the openings, there's a couple mesh nettings and stuff there to make sure someone doesn't slip and fall to their death and things like that. But they're set up and they're discreet and they're decorated to the point where it offers a fantastic view of the ground kind of rushing away as the airship launches and rises quite quickly. Cait's going towards a mob of people. Dwight, do you have a heading that you would like to do right now before I set Thomas in motion?
Just anywhere I can stay out of sight and look to see what's going on for the. I'm looking for Dietrich. That's his main goal, is to find who out there. He's looking for the person, the objective, and once he finds him, he's going to keep his eyes on him.
Okay.
He's going to act like he's doing busy work. So in case anybody wonders why he's just here or there, he'll go from spot to spot and kind of just move around so he can find the best vantage point.
Sure.
And even if he has to be a little hidden from doing it.
The best thing for Dwight at this point would be to be as far away from the band as possible.
Right.
So that would put him at the front end of the airship towards the command center in the cockpit. there's a hallway that leads off of the flight deck. And if he
Right.
kind of sits in that shadowy corner, it gives you a pretty unobstructed view of the entire flight deck. And it's also, everybody's attention is kind of naturally drawn to either one of the two observation points, which would be opposite you, or to the band, which is even directly opposite of you. They'd be looking in any direction but yours. You're in the boring corner.
Okay, that's exactly where I'll head then. If that's the best course, where would be he would think would be the best vantage point of over the whole party itself.
Sure. Okay. You take that spot, Thomas. As you walk in, you are gifted with the same description that I gave everyone else. However, just as you're walking through, you have a bird's eye view of the observation area where the ground of Staten Island is rushing away, and you are gifted with just a couple peaks of the New York skyline as it begins to kind of turn and slowly list and kind of make its way. Everyone is told by word of mouth that the flight path for this evening is to go over New York City, go out to sea a bit, and then turn around and go over the Statue of Liberty to give everyone a unique and inspiring view of Lady Liberty herself. So, Thomas, just as you're coming through, you see people kind of right in front of you congregating at the observation deck.
Well, I'm going to take advantage of the view. I will stop there also and look at the New York skyline. How long do I know how long the actual flight is going to be, or was that told before?
It has not been mentioned yet, but Cait would know this, and I'll just give you guys the information. It would probably be about an hour and a half or 2 hours, unless there was some type of headwind or something like that. But it's a short. Staten Island lends itself to a pretty good circuit, and it would be relatively fast. As you go over and you're standing in the observation deck kind of watching and looking at the city in the distance, you hear directly beside you, "It's beautiful, is it not? A testament to the innovation of mankind." And as you turn to your left, seemingly out of nowhere, is a 6.5 foot tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed German officer, and he's looking at you as he smokes a cigarette. "Herr Joseph Dietrich, and you are?" Let's cut back to Cait. Actually, let's go to Sibella and Elijah. What are you guys doing?
Elijah's leaning over the bar, talking to the person tending the bar. I don't know what German booze is, schnapps or something. Make triples and quadruples, and no, you know what? Miss Callahan beat me to the punch. It seems. Never mind. He just kind of turns around and pouts.
You are such a strange man. I am looking through the crowd because I really can't let that go, and I'm just trying to recall through unconventional means if I can find that person that I touched. Just completely just scanning.
So you don't want to spot hidden, you want to do something else.
Yeah, I want to find it through ways.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it right here in the middle of the? Or are you going to try to?
I mean, I'm looking casual. I assume that Mr. Carson bought me a drink, or got me a drink rather. So yeah, I'm gonna try if there's like a stool.
Sure. Yeah, you can take a seat and take a look through there. Tell you what, roll a power roll for me.
Okay. This is a success.
Okay. So, Sibella, as you kind of allow your mind to do that thing you do, and I'll let you say how much you want to say, you catch a flash, and it's not so much a spotlight on somebody as it is a flare in the night, and you can see a woman, one of the servers, walking through, tending to people, and you know right away that that person is the person that brushed your hand before.
Great.
Also, roll a Constitution check for me.
Oh, what? Okay. Uh-oh. I don't know what
Elijah, you hear the shattering of glass.
Well, you're not really my idea of a +1 either, Miss Sibella. And whoa.
Sibella, you take 1 point of damage as the glass that's in your hand shatters as you are concentrating, and a sliver of it slides into and along your thumb.
Oh my!
God damn, Miss Sibella. I mean, Tura. I'm just teasing. You don't need to be that angry.
Oh, I might need some assistance from someone on board.
Hey, boy, can you go fetch us something, please?
Yeah, a couple servers run over. One of them happens to be the woman that you identified. And, oh, ma'am, here. And she wraps up your, offers you a towel from around her waist, and she wraps your hand. Oh, this is terrible. And she starts sweeping up the glass, and it's quickly cleaned up, and the drink has been taken care of and dried.
But I'm just so embarrassed. Let me, I don't know how I can thank you. This is so kind. Let me just, it's so sweet.
You don't need to say anything, Miss Tura. Apologies, thank you.
I was not talking to you, Mr. Carson. I was talking to this fine lady here. What is your name?
Oh, my name is, and she looks up and looks in your eyes.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
Would
What
you like
color
to
eyes does she have?
Blue, of course.
Oh, great. I thought she might. Yep.
Would you like to do anything else at this time?
I would love to know some things about her. Whatever.
Okay, roll me another power roll. Elijah, I'm going to allow you to do whatever you'd like because from what you can see, Sibella appears to have made a new friend. Nothing strange seems to be occurring. So I'm going to allow you to join in whatever festivities or track any course that Elijah would like to track. Cait, at this time, I'd like you to tell me what you would like to do. The first group that you, in fact, headed towards after your encounter with the Nazi troops is the pocket of former Vice President Charles Curtis.
All right. She's going to move on by them, actually. Can I spot where Sibella and Elijah are at the party at this point?
Sure. Roll me spot hidden.
Subtle person.
I will do that for you.
Oh, I need to roll another power.
Extreme success.
Okay, yeah, you immediately see it. In fact, you kind of through all the drum of the band and the kind of the background garble of everybody talking, you hear the glass break, and you look over and you see Sibella being tended to, and you are privy to something that Elijah may not be as you see them lock eyes.
All right. I'm heading straight in that direction. And I just kind of want to share with them what it is that I've noticed about our Nazi friends at the other end of the room when I get there. I'm trying to be subtle, but I'm not trying real hard here.
We're all bad at it. It's fine.
Okay. So you're making your way through the crowd. Mm-hmm. Elijah, what would you like to do?
He just kind of trails off and he realizes no one's listening to him. When she's nervous, she has the strength of a gorilla, and the glass stood no chance. And he's gonna make a mental spot and see if he can't see where all of his friends are, and he's gonna try to keep friends is a loose term, but see if he can't make a mental note of where everyone is, including our friends hidden at the front of the. Just see if he can know where everyone is, even in disguise.
Sure. Yeah, give me a spot hidden, and I'll let you know who all you see according to your success.
Oh yeah. Oh, I actually succeeded this time.
Very good. Yeah, you immediately identify. You see Cait coming towards you. Obviously, you know where Sibella is. In the shadowy corner, you see Dwight kind of hat down, sitting in the corner, maybe smoking a cigarette or something, but, kind of nestled in the darkness of the far corner. And you also identify that Thomas is by one of the observation decks. And just as you turn and look, you see out of the shadows in an area that would hang over space, you see somebody step forward through the shadows, and you see the 6.5 foot tall frame of Joseph Dietrich just almost materialize beside Thomas. Roll me a sanity check for that, by the way.
Oh, fun. Is this the first one of the game?
It is. Well, the first one you all have seen.
Nah. Oh.
Success barely.
Nice, buddy. Okay, you convince yourself. That was a trick of the
dark up
light.
there.
It's
Yeah,
dark.
up there.
We're in a blimp. I've never been in a blimp. Can't possibly be
Actually, boy, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I need make one triple schnapps and one virgin something. I don't know. Put water in it.
Oh, all right.
As soon as he can get his hands on some drinks, he's gonna try to shuffle over there. He
Roll a persuasion
sees-
check for me. See how fast you get those drinks. Yeah.
Okay.
This is your wheelhouse, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I've just cursed you, but that's...
Yep.
Success, of course.
He basically just turns around, pours him, and gets in front of everybody else and hands them to you and goes, Mr. Carson, there you are. So you have drinks in hand, one heavily liquored and one completely watered down drink of your choosing as you make your way, I'm assuming, towards Joseph Dietrich and Thomas Mueller.
Yeah, Cait said she was on her way over here, so if I see her in the crowd, just big eyes kind of.
Like the classic subtle, hey, right? Okay. All right.
He's just holding him up high, pushing his way through the crowd, trying to get over there.
Okay, so as you're moving in that direction, as Cait is moving towards Sibella, let's cut back to see what Thomas is doing as a hand is extended and Herr Joseph Dietrich has just introduced himself and asked, "Who are you?" You're muted, bud. I can unmute you. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
There we go, man.
Whenever I look at his hand, I look down I look him over, and then I look him extending his hand, and I tell him, "You know exactly who I am, Herr Dietrich, or you wouldn't have sidled up next to me." Then I just look at him and say, "Professor," and I just go, "Huh. What do you want?" And forgive me in advance for not shaking your hand.
Oh. We are at a loss here, my friends. I truly do not know who you are.
Spare me. You know exactly who I am, because I know who you are, or you wouldn't have came up next to me.
I am Joseph Dietrich. This is my first time in the United States. You are of the United States. Perhaps you thought that we have met somewhere before.
Well, don't I look familiar? Look at my face. My name is Thomas Mueller. My father's name is Thomas Mueller.
Thomas
You don't know
Mueller.
him?
Mueller? This is a German name.
It is.
Thomas Mueller, of a Thomas Mueller that I am supposed to know. What are you doing here in the United States?
Sightseeing. Just
Have
like
you-
you.
Have you seen anything you like? Has anything caught your fancy?
The New York skyline and how far down it is from the...
Roll a, let's see, give me an intimidation roll, just for...
Let me look for it here. I didn't know how to... I know my alphabet. All right, there we go.
For a moment, he looks at you, kind of looks out, realizing that you guys are standing over what is rapidly becoming several hundred feet of space. Looks at you again for a moment, and he says, "Well, Thomas Mueller, this sounds like you couldn't possibly have meant it to be some type of threat."
It's not a threat. What do you want?
Oh, I just have come here to see the United States and to see all the things and all of the knowledge that we can take back to Germany. There are things that are here in the United States that we could probably use in Germany.
And how long do you plan to stay here?
Oh, as long as it takes. How is Einstein?
Einstein's fine. Very happy where he is in the United States.
Do you see him often?
Not as much as I'd like to.
Roll a
How's
deception
Hitler?
check. Roll a deception
Back
check
in
for him.
Germany.
Oh, he's having a blast.
I'm going to ask him. I will also. I'm going to look. Is there any other people around me? Any other Germans? Is he by himself?
He's by himself. As far as the Germans go, I mean, there's just regular people everywhere else. You know, just normal, everyday GI Joes and Americans. Just as far as the eye can see.
I'll go in close to him and I'll whisper to him. You have my parents. Where are they?
Your parents? What's an ugly accusation? You know, we were looking for Professor Thomas Mueller, not Thomas Mueller. It's a nobody. It's a shame. We don't need Thomas Mueller as a nobody.
Then let him go. Let him go. Let him leave the country.
Well, I'm sure we can find something to do with 2 extra people.
What do you want from me?
We would like you and Professor Einstein to take a trip with us on the Graf Zeppelin.
Are you kidding me? You know that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's more likely that you're going to be taking a trip off this airship in a minute or two.
Oh, Professor Mueller, that is a certainty. Okay, at this point, I want everybody to roll a dex check for me, please.
Okay.
And tell me if you fail.
Ugh, fail.
Success.
I failed. Oh, no, I didn't. Did I fail?
Mueller succeeded.
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay. Yep.
And a hard success for Cait.
Okay, so who failed?
Me.
Okay, so all of a sudden there's
I
a
succeeded.
there's a gust of wind, and the floorboards kind of shift for a second beneath, almost like a sea vessel rocking in a particularly violent gale or a particularly heavy swell. And for a second, Sibella starts to move, and her eyesight is broken as she kind of looks away, and the server looks up and moves back into the crowd.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys notice that there is wind picking up outside, but at this point you guys are kind of drifting over the edge of the kind of like the southern point of Manhattan as you guys are kind of creeping around and heading out to sea a bit. It's also at this point that Elijah, you make it over to Thomas. Cait, you make it to Sibella. And just as all of this is happening, towards the door that Dwight is standing beside, you see the 2 Germans escorting former Vice President Charles Curtis towards the front of the plane. They seem to be talking the Germans are talking, and they seem to have a pleasant tone to them, but you notice that Charles Curtis seems to have a completely blank stare as they pass within 4 or 5 feet of you. The door opens, they step through, and the door closes.
This is me you're talking to?
It is.
Now, do I notice Thomas Mueller talking with Dietrich?
Roll me a spot hidden.
That is a fail.
You do not.
Okay, so I do not see that. Do I see the other? Do I see Elijah and Sibella and Cait?
With that one, you kind of casually see these people, but you don't see anything untoward. You didn't witness the breaking of the glass. You didn't the engagement. You don't see Thomas Mueller. You see them kind of moving around, like you see Elijah carrying drinks. You see Cait kind of walking up towards Sibella, but because of that spot hidden, nothing pops out as a threat to you, not from this distance.
All right. So I saw the would I recognize the vice president, the former vice president? Do I recognize him myself?
You do.
Okay. Well, and is the door still open, or did they close the door?
They closed the door, but it does not appear locked.
All right. Well, I'll kind of creep over to the door and act like I'm doing work and kind of open the door to go in. You know, and if they're there, then I'll act like I've accidentally walked in.
You are greeted with a darkened hallway.
Okay. I'll go down the hallway, and I'm gonna. Do I hear anything?
I want you to roll a listen check for me.
Probably will fail this. Yep, it's a fail.
You don't hear anything one way or the other. There is ambient sound coming up from up here, and you are faced with a hallway with several doors kind of lining it, very similar to crew quarters. You also notice that the battery-powered lights through here are kind of sporadic, as you see the lights kind of as they come in and out of power. It's very low lit even with them at full power, but as it's coming in and out, it's creating a kind of a distortion of shadow. But you do notice that of all the closed doors, there appears to be one slightly open at the far end, which you would imagine to be the command cockpit.
Well, can I take the moment to put my gun together?
You're going to put the rifle together?
Yes.
Yep.
That's
I
what
will
I'll
allow
do.
you to do that. Okay, you're putting your rifle together.
Yep.
Let's cut back to Elijah and Thomas by the... Actually, let's go to Cait and Sibella first, please.
I was gonna say I want to hear Sibella's first.
Oh, Miss O'Callaghan.
Miss Ives. Look, and she kind of gestures over her shoulder back toward the Nazi officers. There is something not right about those boys. I think they might be, I don't know, not like you, right? But I don't know. There's just something not right about them.
Like
And
lies?
She leans in and whispers, like entity not right.
Oh, well, I just bumped into a lovely server, and she's a Nazi, I think. But I was gonna do something.
Where? Which one?
She had blonde hair and blue eyes, and she had
That makes sense.
Well, sure. Do I see her from where I am now? I lost her.
Did I by any chance see the deal with the vice president being, or the former vice president being escorted away?
Yeah, I'll let you roll a spot hidden because technically it would have been parallel to you as you were approaching.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Cool. Oh, fail. Damn it.
Nope. You were concerned with Sibella and you kind of moved to her and failed to
Elijah
notice
was
that.
giving you weird facial gesticulation.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Well, where did oh God, what was it? Carson. Where did Thomas Carson go?
Oh, I think he went that way. I think I would have seen where he went. And I would really like to get over to him. I feel like I've been very distracted by this server.
Well, all right. Let's head.
Do you think we should stroll by the Nazis? And I can see if I saw what you saw. Wink.
All right then.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Just like we're taking a turn about the room. We do look
All right.
very lovely.
Yeah.
Might as well. No one is
Okay.
dancing.
It's like that clip you guys showed me. Right?
Yeah.
That is definitely true. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to do this part first because I want to. Okay, so you guys walk over to the Nazis, and I'm assuming that you want to do a casual brush against somebody, correct,
Yeah.
Sibella?
Mm-hmm. So I walk up and, as if to introduce, boys, this is my dear friend, Miss Sibella Ives. She owns a bookshop right here in New York City, and we just met actually, but she's really lovely and would love to meet you.
Oh dear, it looks like you got a little smudge right there underneath your chin. Now, what is that?
Okay, spot hidden from Cait, and I want a power roll from
Failed spot hidden.
Success.
Okay.
Barely.
As soon as you touch the cheek and wipe the imaginary smudge off the Nazi soldier, you are gifted with the following images. And because of your abilities, even if you haven't been to these places before, you know where they are, what it is. You are in an apartment in Brooklyn. You see the Nazi soldier kissing two children, a boy and a girl, as he hugs his wife and exits the apartment. He is wearing the overalls of a workman for a local electrical company, like Jones & Jones Electrical. You see him walk downstairs, wait for a bus, and as he is waiting for a bus, he walks in. You see him sit down at the bus, and at the next stop, you see someone that looks a lot like Joseph Dietrich walk in and sit down next to him and turn and look at him.
Do they react at all? This was so... You boys are just... Do
Roll
not
spot hidden for
belong
me,
here.
Sibella.
You do not belong here. Cait, they don't belong here. Spot hidden, you say? All right. Oh my god, a success. Greg.
That's exactly what I was trying to tell you.
Right.
No, but they really don't.
You notice the one that you're talking to, the one that you saw with the wife and family in the apartment in Brooklyn, you notice that the cigarette is burned and it's burning into his fingers, and you see a single tear coming out of his eye as he's staring at you.
I swat it out of his hand and put it out with my heel.
No reaction. Let's cut back over to Joseph Dietrich, Thomas Mueller, and the recently arrived Thomas Carson.
Dietrich's still here then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Clambering, not so elegantly, over towards them with his drink still raised high. Just, hello, V. Gates, Herr Dietrich. Just the man I was looking for, the man of the hour, huh?
Yes,
And
he sticks his hand out.
He has his heavily alcohol drink reached out, trying to give it to him.
He kind of throws his cigarette over the side into the night air. He takes the drink. Finally, some American hospitality. Here, Joseph
American
Dietrich.
hospitality with alcohol straight from the motherland, huh?
Absolutely. This is very pleasant. Thank you. Conversation with my friend here has become rather heated and jagged.
Oh, apologies. I don't believe I know you either, sir.
That's you, Tim.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I introduced myself. My name is Thomas Mueller. We were just discussing the difference between real science and junk science.
Thomas Carson. He shakes both of their hands if he can. Takes a big swill on his imaginary martini.
Yeah, Thomas makes a very very obvious attempt to shake hands with Mr. Tom. Was it your Thomas also, or Elijah? Was it Elijah or Thomas? Thomas. Sorry.
Thomas yeah.
Carson.
Thomas Carson.
Don't know where you got that.
No, you're asking. It's not. Yeah, that's Maddox. That's okay. He turns and looks at the both of you. He doesn't seem to have any recognition in his eyes as he passes over Elijah, but he does note the disappearance. He does look towards the front of the Zeppelin as he turns back around, and he kind of pulls up his sleeve and looks at a timepiece he has on his wrist. It's a Swiss. They have things that we can use in Germany too.
Are you in some kind of a hurry?
I have all the time in the world.
Well, that's good to hear, because I wanted you to introduce you to my plus one. Where is she? Oh, great. She's touching your boys' faces over there. Well, you and I can talk, I suppose.
Sure. What would you like to talk about, Mr. Carson?
Oh, well, how you liking your time in America, sir?
It was boring up until just a few moments ago, and now I find it exhilarating.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. I've never, I never been to the motherland myself. My grandfather, he grew up here, moved back to the farmstead in '83, and yeah, if to hear him talk about Germany, I always wanted to go, but it's a shame right now what's happened to the place after the Great War and all. I'd like to take a visit, see the homeland after the everything kind of calms down. He may have left Germany, but it never really left him, if you catch my meaning.
That's what I do perfectly. It is in the heart. You take it with you wherever you go. As my friend here, Thomas Mueller, would have to say, and I'm sure Mr. Sawyer, he would say the same thing too.
Mr. Sawyer, well, okay, we can get the formalities out of the way. Well, you certainly are an observant gentleman, Mr. Dietrich.
No, I just like to shake hands.
Well, funny you say that. Well, then I'm sure you know all about us and what we're doing as well. Your Nazis in the crowd mingling with the folks haven't gone unnoticed.
Then this should be interesting. Let's cut back to one Dwight as gun fully assembled, 1911 in his possession as well, which is a D10 by the way, buddy, so we can, if you need to roll it, you can do that. You are, I'm assuming, heading towards the front?
Yep, heading toward the front. I'm going to go as slow as I can, as quietly as I can down the hallway.
Okay, sure thing. So you're going to slow it open. You're going to go down. I need you to roll stealth for me then, bud.
Stealth?
Yeah.
That is a fail. Boy, I'm failing everything.
Okay. As you're walking down, another jerk kind of rocks, and you catch yourself, one hand with the rifle, you kind of put it up, and a hard piece of the rifle kind of gunk against one of the doors. Kind of, you're not sure how much noise it's made, but as you kind of creep down with the lights blinking on and off, and they kind of are staying off longer than they're flickering on. I'd like to say this meta real quick. I love having people alone in Call of Cthulhu. Anyway,
that is nice.
You slow open the door, and as it slows open, you are gifted with probably one of the only areas that's fully glassed in what is essentially a military vessel, and you see the ocean in front of you as the Akron is going out to sea. The next thing you see are the bodies of the crew members slumped over their positions, and as the door finally goes all the way open, you are gifted with the sight of the two Nazi officers as they are scooping the brain matter out of the bisected skull of the vice president. I'd like you to roll a sanity check, because even though Dwight's a soldier, he ain't seen shit like this before.
Oh, let's see here. Where is sanity at?
It's right at the top by your sanity point.
Yeah. Yep, I succeed.
Okay, so
it's actually a hard success.
Okay, so maybe, unfortunately, maybe Dwight has seen stuff like this before. So as they're sitting there scooping...
He won't even hesitate. He's going to shoot immediately at both of them.
Okay, so our first combat rolls of the game, you are going with shots fired, correct?
Yeah, it has to be. No choice.
Okay, so you're going with your rifle, right?
Yep.
Okay, as you have two shots with the rifle. As you're firing, let me know what you're doing.
Success. Damage 11, it says. +2, hard success.
Okay. And roll me an...
Shot 2, another one. Success. Extreme success. 16 damage.
Okay.
One at each of them.
All right, so they are going to fight back. For the first one, that will win. Second one loses. Okay, so as they fire, as you turn and shoot, the one that's actually doing the scooping looks up, and as it looks up, your shot takes it right in the left eye and blows the back of its own head against the wall as Dwight fires. And as you spin on the second one and take a shot, it's given the second officer time to pull out his own pistol, and he fires. The shot goes off, and for 3 points of damage, Dwight takes a shot in his aiming shoulder as he's pushed back against the door. You are engaged now at this point, sir. I'd like everyone to roll listen checks for me, please.
That's a fail for Cait.
It's a fail for me.
Mueller hears it.
Yeah, success for Mueller.
Good.
Mueller, the
I hear
last time...
trumpets as the band's playing.
Right.
I hear shit.
Yeah, Mueller, as you have a second, because you've recently heard gunshots just the other night, you hear the pop, 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 and you're not sure if it's coming from the front of the ship via the corridor or if it's actually traveling through the airspace from the cockpit through and up and into the open observation areas. But you definitely heard some type of shot, and it appears that Dietrich heard it as well.
So I see his ears perk up. Do I see Thomas Carson's ears perk up too? Did he hear it?
He does not appear to have heard it.
I will try to. I'm going to keep engaging Mr. Mueller and try to keep him there, or not Mueller, Mr. Dietrich, and try to keep him there in conversation.
Okay, so as you all are there, Elijah, what are you doing? He appears not to want to talk anymore. He looks at you and kind of, again, checks his watch as he's standing there. He's not making any move to leave, but do you want to, like, kind of insert yourself between him and the rest of the ship, so to speak? You kind of have him backed into a corner.
Oh, yeah, I certainly do.
Okay, so the two of you are kind of fronting up to this guy?
All pretenses are dropped. I've dropped my glass, and Elijah's just going off now. Well, Mr. Dietrich, if you know my name, I'm sure you know I'm armed to the teeth, but as I am also an observational individual, well, my time with these level 2 entities of you and your government has taught me that my firearms are probably going to have no effect on you. Now, you have men all over the ship in disguise, and as I'm certainly sure you know we do as well. So we got a balloon over the ocean filled with military folks from both nations, and each person thinks they have the upper hand. Now, the only thing I just can't figure out is why you think we're touching hands, you're touching hands, why you think you have the upper hand in this situation whatsoever.
Because I have more peoples than you do. At that point, everybody rolled dex checks, Dwight included.
That's not right.
Let me know if you fail. Anybody fail?
Success.
Me, always.
Okay. All right, well, we're
I had
gonna...
extreme success.
Okay, Sibella, again, there is a rock from outside. Cait, roll a spot hidden for me, too.
And I fall toward Dietrich.
We're going to say that you guys are about halfway back towards them from the Nazis. As you guys are kind of closing in on this area, Sibella, you fall to the ground, and it's a fail for the spot hidden. Cait, you kind of turn and look and see her fall, and you're kind of distracted by that. And as you kneel down, the two that are by Dietrich, you see Dietrich kind of just take his hat and go like, just kind of tip his hat a bit. At this point, the 5 German soldiers down by the band all pull out revolvers, and as one, fire 5 shots into the nearest person. And you see just a regular socialite explode in a hail of gunfire.
You are.
And as they turn as one, and you see them moving towards the next target. You guys are fully engaged at this point. I have not told you yet what is going to... Dietrich has just touched his hat, so he's not really doing anything else. At this point, though, I'm going to give this one to Allison because she would have caught on to this anyway if she had a chance to look outside. Cait sees the sky turning a bizarre shade of purple, And it looks exactly like the storm that she saw in Arizona, as it is traveling not from west to east, as most storms are wont to do, but it's traveling from east to west, sort of like it's coming from somewhere, maybe somewhere across the ocean. And as it's coming across, lightning strikes begin to rock the outside of the Akron as the entire ship begins to kind of move back and forth. But the Nazis that are standing and firing in unison seem to ride it as if they know when each strike is going to hit. Cait, you're up first.
Cait reaches down and grabs the bottom hem of her dress, the side hem, and tears it all the way up kind of to her thighs. And she says, Miss Ives, we need to get out of here right now.
Uh-huh.
And she pulls her 45 and she's helps Sibella up. And we start moving away from, start pulling her away from those Nazis as quickly as we can, back toward the front of the Akron.
Toward Dietrich?
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, so you guys are headed towards Dietrich. Both of you roll spot hiddens for me.
Come on.
Ooh,
Oh!
Success, baby.
that was awesome.
Oh.
Go with
Cait,
her.
Cait can see on the atomic level, right? Okay, so Cait, as you turn around and you kind of grab Sibella at the last second and pull her down, you see that all of the guns are being directed towards Sibella. And as the gunshots go off, at that point, just a poor son of a bitch walked between Sibella and the gunman and just evaporates and falls to the ground. Unfortunately, I need the two of you to also roll sanity checks for me as people are starting to break apart.
Ooh, fail.
Success.
Damn it.
I heard a fail.
Yes,
Did I hear a
sir.
fail?
Yes, sir, you did.
Oh boy. Oh,
Take 2 sanity away for me, Cait.
Alrighty.
Okay, but you are able to move through there. Dwight, we are back at the front of the USS Akron. It is now unpiloted, and you can see through the windows a purple storm with lightning kind of lancing in every conceivable direction. There is an eye of the storm that appears to be a ball of lightning, and it is headed directly for the Akron. You are engaged in a full-blown firefight with this person as they turn and shoot at you.
They're shooting at me first.
Yep.
Is there any way I can dodge out of the room?
You certainly can. Let me see what they've got first. That is 1 hit, and if you can dodge out of the way and beat that roll, I will allow you to...
Which roll do I have to beat? The 45?
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me? That's
use
a,
luck.
Yeah,
just
you could...
missed it.
I'll let you use 2 luck if you want to burn 2 of your luck points to
Is
get
that
below
how
it.
Is that how luck is used? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
use it here too for that,
Absolutely.
since he's
Yes,
got
I
a
will
shot on you.
luck my ass on out of there.
Okay, so you jump to the ground. The side of your shoulder has a grazed bullet wound in it, and just as you kind of dive out, the last possible second, even a piece of your lapel from your overall kind of gets blasted back as you drop back into the hallway and kind of kick shut the door that's between you and the cockpit. I will give you movement at this point if you want to try to get up and run towards anywhere you want to run towards.
I'm going back. We need to get the hell out of here. I'm going back for my compatriots. I'm going to let them know. We got to do something. Cait could probably fly the plane, but at this point, I'm figuring probably all hell's breaking loose.
Okay, so I'll let you know this. You pull yourself off the decking and you run back down the hallway. You're about 5 feet from the door when you hear the command door slam open behind you. But let's cut back to everybody else. Cait, with that subatomic 1 that you rolled, you also hear something, because I want you to hear something. And as the Germans are firing in unison to each place, Dietrich seems to be very calm, and at the last second, you see him jump out into space, and you see him just drop. You hear... And you see Dietrich coming back over the edge, and he's on the back of some type of beast with bifolding wings that is just flying in as two other beasts of the same make fly up through the opposite side cargo bay door and lance into these just start feasting on these people. And as you look up, Dietrich looks down at you all, and he looks at his watch as he is riding one of them. This is going to Elijah now. Elijah, what would you like to do, bud?
Well, it's Elijah, so I have to scream out a taunt at him before we actually get into the action. Elijah lets his hat just fly off into the wind, and he screams out after him. Well, I hope next time we meet, Mr. Dietrich, when you're surprised to see us alive. Well, I hope you pull your arrogant Jerry head out of your ass far enough that you'll actually be willing to talk with me. And the 32 is coming out of the right sleeve and probably going to aim at the group of Nazis firing upon the innocent folk in the balloon first, because Elijah doesn't have any confidence that he can actually fight folded winged screeching monstrosities.
Sure, roll me an attack roll.
How about a hard success?
Nice. And what was the damage on that? Did we get any damage?
Fucking one.
What, damage of 1, but a hard success. You can add a d6 to that, please, since it's a hard success.
Oh, yeah. Five. There we go. 6 altogether.
Okay, you turn and fire, and one of the Nazi soldiers, the head blows apart, and it drops to the ground.
Fun.
You have another shot. They're at distance, so you don't have 3. You could fan the hammer if they're within 10 feet, but they are beyond that, so you can fire another shot if you'd like.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Extreme success this time.
You automatically kill another one. It boom, you boom from across, a good 60 yards away. You're just knocking them out with a handgun, which is impressive.
Maybe Elijah has other skills too.
I would say so. Okay, Sibella, it is your turn, and because you and Cait are moving in tandem, Cait cannot react for you or make an action for you, but she can move with you. So if you continue to move, you'll be taking Cait with you.
Okay.
Or not, unless she doesn't want to.
Damn it. Stop shooting them! I yell at Elijah. Which doesn't really make sense with what's going on. It's not them, it's him, pointing to the man on a flying thing. And then I guess I gotta do something, because otherwise we're gonna kill all the innocents too. So I will engage Mr. on a flying thing, I guess.
You gonna lock eyes with him?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real fun. I can already tell.
Let's do it.
You got this, girl. You got it.
Lock eyes with Greg right now.
Roll a power check for me.
Oh, Greg, that's not cool. It's a success, but it's not anywhere near that.
As soon as you lock eyes with him, you feel that power, your power being matched. I'd like you to lose or take away 10 constitution points, please, as he begins to pool some of your energy into himself.
Can I get a spot hidden on this to see if I can get some sense of what's happening here?
Yeah, it's your turn. I'll allow you to do it.
Okay.
The spot at this point, she just looks like she's staring at Dietrich.
Yeah. Now I've got a headache. Cool, great. That went real well.
You're engaged. You're locked with him though. He can't break away. So.
Cool. I feel super confident in what's happening right now.
I will let you know that you can't move though, unless you want to break the hold.
I just kind of, while I'm looking, like, tug at Cait, point kind of vaguely behind me where we were being shot at from, and lock eyes still.
Oh, hey, by the way,
What?
I'm going to let you retcon this because it appears that you had the critical success. Sibella was awarded the critical success from the viewer decision, it looks like.
You guys picked well.
Roller!
Much better than.
Seriously.
Well, fuck you.
Don't place your bets on Elijah. That's never a good idea.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, so add those 10 constitution points back, and I'm assuming you'd like to use that crit success against Herr Dietrich.
Oh, yes, I would.
Okay. As soon as you lock, you feel that power, the aforementioned power, but this time, that little bit that you felt the other night after Ezra, you use it again. And Dietrich, who was just a moment ago looking at his watch very in a pompous manner, immediately grabs the side of his head as his eyes widen as he looks down at you. And as you're looking, Cait, at this point, instead of the placid kind of exchange of glances, you see that Sibella is immediately covered in like a flop sweat. Like her dress is already clinging to her as just rivulets of perspiration kind of start coming off of her as she's completely locked eyes with this individual. And for a moment, you see a color dance across the orbs of her eyes, as Dietrich's eyes are just huge as he's grabbing the side of his head and looking down at her. You are still engaged, and he has suffered what you suffered.
Oh, yay. Let him go. Let him go. That's all I'm trying to do, is get him to let go of the 5 in uniform. Well, the 3 in uniform now.
Right. Okay, so at this point, to recap, we have Dwight in the hallway getting shot at. We have these dragons flying around. We have the Nazis that are shooting at people. We have Dietrich riding one of these dragons. Cait, it is your turn, and I'll allow you to do that spot hidden now if you would like.
I would. Hard success.
Yeah, you know that something's going on. You know that there is some type of battle being waged between these two. However, what you do notice with that hard success is that over behind the bar, you catch the glimpse of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed server as she is holding what appears to be some type of metal disc. And as she's holding it, you see her hand moving a bit, and as her hand moves, you see the Germans by the band moving as one, almost as if they're targeting, and her finger movements are matching their movements.
Nice. Cait swivels around, having noticed this, and engages her with her 45.
Okay, go ahead. You can take 2 shots. She is outside of the 3-shot range.
Alrighty. Come on, baby. Success. And a fail.
Okay, so you do shoot her, and as you shoot her with a 5, you catch her just below the jawline, which immediately she drops the disc, and her hands go up towards her jaw, and you see the remaining 3 German soldiers collapse in a pile over by the band. At this point, I want everyone to do dex rolls for me, and this one needs to be a hard success, people, for the following individuals: Cait, Sibella, Thomas, and Elijah.
Fail.
Critical.
Oh, wow.
Critical.
Extreme.
Nice.
Just the success here. I missed the hard success.
Okay. You all watch as the entire floor rocks as the Akron hits almost a 90-degree angle all of a sudden as the wind and everything kind of grabs it. And you guys watch as Thomas falls backwards, and you see his bottom foot catch on the cargo netting, but it doesn't hold as he flies out into space as he is suspended over the cargo bay. I need someone to roll a dex, and this needs to be a hard one. You guys can all jump for it, but he is currently on his way out the ship.
I can't.
Who was that on their way out the ship?
Thomas.
I'm the one right next to him.
Give it a shot, buddy.
Dexterity, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Just a normal success.
Okay, so Elijah reaches for him, and he thinks he has him, but as soon as his foot hits the cargo netting, it kind of twists Mueller the wrong way, and you just briefly touch the hem of like his tuxedo jacket as he goes flying out into space. Cait, do you want to take a shot at it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sibella can't. She's
Busy.
engaged in something.
Just the regular success. Damn it.
Okay. So as you are all standing there and the two of you reach, you see Mueller fly, and he goes out into the space, into the air, 5-10 feet away from the Akron. Will Thomas Mueller survive? Tune in next week to see exactly what happens to our intrepid band of adventurers here on Project Athena.
Oh dear.
Alrighty, that was a good one. I had fun with that one.
So bad.
Nice. So everyone's getting the hang of it. We had some good rolls there. I liked it quite a bit. I also like this. By the way, somebody told me when I played this earlier, I'm not allowed to use the Stranger Things soundtrack. This isn't. This is a cleverly disguised decoy. So, everybody, I'm so glad that you were here. Let's go do some outros real quick. Allison, how did Cait enjoy it? And is this going to be her last day in 1933?
I gotta tell you, that is the most intense couple of hours of role playing I've had in a long time, and I'm on Wander Quest, so that's saying something. Jeez, I'm on the edge of my seat here, literally. Greg, thanks so much. Fantastic cast. Loved playing with you tonight. Really, really great. Not even close to her last night in 1933. She's got to land this behemoth of a thing before we're done here. So you can find me on Twitter at Allison Robinson and on the aforementioned WaterQuest podcast. New episode coming out this week, I think, and on God's Fall as well. Risk Athena on God's Fall. So keep on the lookout. Just a new episode it released yesterday, I think. So be on the lookout for that.
Excelente. Thank you so much, Allison. Lauren, how's Sibella doing? And is this her last night in 1933?
No, she's doing just fine. Just fine. Everything is, just looking at people, working up a very healthy sweat. Everything is fine. I'm not worried at all. I am on Twitter at ThatSaltyGinger and on Encounter Roleplay tomorrow for Age of the Necromancer at 1 p.m. Eastern, where I'm not even sure what's happening. Sea goddess, sea beasts. I shoot things with a crossbow. It's awesome. I'm very good at it.
Absolutely. All righty. Good, great, and awesome. Steven, how's Dwight doing? He's got shot at. He got hit once. He killed somebody. But is this his last night in 1933?
Oh, no, this is definitely not his last night. He's going to have to take out the remaining. I'm assuming there's still one left. He's going to have to take him out. And I enjoyed it very much. But we're definitely going to get this thing righted and whatnot. And I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving this week.
Awesome, buddy. That is great. And Strider, Elijah showed that he can talk the talk, he can drink the drink, and he can shoot the gun. But is this his last night in 1933?
Oh, no, certainly not. It might be his last night working with these kids because they are detrimental to his longevity.
Dude.
But he is certainly going to survive. Great fun. This is the place to be. Elijah's going to be just fine if Greg's track record of trying to kill me means anything. Because
Haven't been able to
tomorrow
do it
we're
yet.
playing Tomb of Annihilation, and in 10 episodes, he's only managed to kill me 3 times. So he needs to try a little harder.
Challenge accepted.
I want to see Rourke just fucking explode at the beginning of the session for no reason.
Done.
Okay, yeah, man, catch me tomorrow. Great game, great staff. Yeah, and give thanks you guys aren't in Cthulhu infested 1933 this Thanksgiving.
Nice, buddy.
See y'all next week.
Great. And last but not least, and ironically, the one whose question might not be so easily answered as everybody else's, Tim, how is Thomas Mueller doing? Is this his last night in 1933?
I think it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bleak. Hopefully, I'm valuable in some way to somebody that maybe I'll get saved. I don't know. I'm just surmising out there, but I'd like to thank everybody. All four of you are just excellent role players. Really good, really top notch. I'm humbled by you. Greg, you're always awesome. You know, I love you on Team Annihilation. I got you in real life as my DM. So thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Love everybody. Perfect timing on the critical success too.
Right. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, I'll be putting the VODs up all week. Have a great Thanksgiving. You can see me, of course, mentioned before, on Tomb of Annihilation tomorrow and Encounter Roleplay. I believe 4:30 to 7:30. Normally, I'm on Encounter on Wednesday from 1 to 4 playing Call of Cthulhu, where I get all this stuff done to me. So believe me, this is cheaper than therapy. So from all of us to all of you, have a great Thanksgiving, and don't let this be your last night in 1933. Now, what we'll do is I'm going to try to actually do a raid, which I don't know how many people are even doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. So I want to try to get this right. Unmade Gaming. I think he's on. Whatever. Let's give it a shot. Oh my gosh, look at that. Nice. Everybody raid up. We're going to go over there and see what's going on and do all that good stuff. It takes forever for us to do this, so I'm going to sit here and stretch it out like I have to do during Shakespeare when somebody is not where they're supposed to be during a specific moment.
You can't improvise an iambic pentameter?
I tried one time, but then I realized I'm just not that smart. And
Who is?
right, that's a bad thing. But just so you all know, next week we'll be picking up the action here on the USS Akron, as it might be its last night in 1933. But Professor Mueller's the one that we should be worried about. Anyway, from us to you, from the Thanksgiving of 1933 to the Thanksgiving of 2017, have a fantastic time, and everybody, bye-bye.
I think it worked. It did.